Yeah. Okay. We are so excited to see you here with us, but we're also really upset that we're coming to the end of the program with a really exciting panel discussion hosted by EDI. Today, we're coming together for our panel discussion, Challenges and Solutions in Artistic and Creative Entrepreneurship, moderated by our own Neşen. So we'll be hosting Bahar, Mine, and Ksenia, and we'll be uncovering the secrets to turning artistic passion into a profitable venture. Thanks once again, the European Union for co-funding this project. After this panel discussion, we'll have a closing circle, so we're encouraging you to please bear with us for another 30 minutes. So say no more, sorry. And I'll give my mic to Neşen.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm very excited and pleased to be here. I tried to follow the sessions in the program as well, as much as I could. For me, it's a learning adventure as well. Very quickly about my background. I have actually a long corporate background, and 11 years ago, I started my own company as a solopreneur. And together with my husband, we started a platform for startups and entrepreneurs, started organizing meetups, trainings, startup weekends, hackathons, ideathons. I learned a lot, and I hope I helped many seed stage entrepreneurs and startups to move forward. As a third career, I'm now moving to the art scene as not an artist, but an enabler. I will try to use my tools in professional life to help artists basically make money. Today I'm hosting this session. I'll be the moderator, and my dear friends Mine, Bahar, and Ksenia are going to answer the questions. So please take a note of your questions on the chat. We will monitor them and try to answer them firstly on chat. But if it's a question that covers many people here, we're gonna give the answer while we are speaking. So I will now ask my guest speakers to introduce themselves shortly. We have 1 hour. So sometimes I'll try to rush, excuse me for that. I start with Bahar. Please, could you introduce yourself, Bahar?
Hi, my name is Bahar Soyoğuz. I'm owner of Be Contemporary Art Gallery, which is a commercial art gallery. And what have I done in the digital space? I have built an app, which was an kind of an art map app, like 5 years ago, I suppose. And I use, as a gallery, I use platforms, art platforms, to sell my artists' artworks. And I have minted NFT of some of my artists as well. I also buy art from some art platforms as well. It's briefly what I do in this area.
Thank you. Ksenia, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here.
There we go.
If you're not talking, please mute yourself. It's like an advice for forever. Or unmute yourself if you're talking, right? I'm Ksenia Stark. I'm an entrepreneur and a consultant in the Web3 space. So my background comes with digital strategies, brand strategies, from bringing brands from offline to online, being on different sides of marketing table, And for the past 4 years, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been building a startup in the media tech sector. And for the past 3 years, I'm highly involved in Web3 as an entrepreneur, consultant, as well as public speaker, and actually fostering creator economy. So at this moment, I'm building an impact creator house called Confusion and Joy, where we empower creators with sustainable strategies and also incorporating impact into brands. So kind of creating this healthy and sustainable ecosystem. And we also have a component of physical locations. So within the next decade, we will open 50 creator houses around the world where creators can come, co-create. And we believe that artists and creators should do what they do best, is to create, and the guys who are good at strategies help them out with their knowledge how to get the message out, get the sales, etc., etc. So pleasure to be here and looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you. And Mine.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And we were actually, we met in person for the first time with Ksenia last week. So it's great to be in this space. And Neşen, we've been doing business together for so long. I am running 2 brands. One is Startist and the other one is Happy Work Studio. With Startist, I help startups, mentor them, and from ideation to business stage. And also with Happy Work Studio, I'm helping companies to transition to hybrid or remote work and help them build their culture. And I'm also the co-founder of Vivel. Vivel is a community bringing together the creators, remote work people, and also the Web3 people. We did our first event, the inaugural event in Cappadocia back in May, and we now are getting ready to host the second event in Sevilla in December from 12th to 14th. And I am more on the community side, community facilitation side. I'm helping these communities to prosper and thrive. So I am here. Today I'll be more talking about the community side of it and how to help the creators on that side.
Okay, I must say I have a very good speakers group here, and I would like to start by asking one of you, Ksenia, actually, to describe what is digital art today. Like, what is art? What is digital art? How do we define it, or how do we differentiate it? There are so many tools.
Yes, and there are so many definitions as well, because first of all, we're entering the creator economy, and we just had the very heated panel discussion back in Istanbul at Future Go conference exactly about that. Who is a creator? Who is an artist? So the creator economy is about everyone reinventing the way we do business together. It's a more transparent way of sharing and sharing, like we call it equity, having full equity into the projects and getting the compensation as a kickback. And obviously everyone is a creator for me, just because I think we need to promote this lifestyle, but obviously not every creator is an artist. And when we come to digital art, obviously, it does have some intersections with, as we define artists, it's a person who creates and delivers a message with their artworks, whether it's a physical painting or a sculpturing. And that's exactly what you can do and replicate in a digital world. So either you can try, kind of categorize it as digitizing your physical artworks. You can digitize photography, digitize paintings, digitize in a 3D sculptures. But when you come also to fully digital world, you have even more tools. And obviously one of the most popular is AI, which helps you get into full creative mode and optimize the way that you create the models and then work it further. So I would say there is not such a big category. Everything can be digital. Performance art can be digital, when you do the recording of a performance and you broadcast it. So there are no limits. Everything can be digitized. It's just the matter of understanding why you're doing it. How you create community around it. And I think that's the topics we will deep dive exactly today. And unpack a lot of questions that you guys have.
Yeah, as far as I understand, it's the art scene is becoming multidisciplinary, even more mixed with using different tools and techniques. And I would like to ask my next question then. Being an artist was always challenging, but I see that in today's world, it's becoming, the entry barrier can be for creators is lower, but making money might be getting harder. So how would you define the challenges and risks for artists in the traditional methods and today's art scene? Bahar, maybe you would like to share some thoughts on this. And
Sure.
Ksenia or Mine, please feel free to add.
Certainly. First, there is this challenge of the hardware being used and the software being used while people create the artwork. The software, the platform you use to create can change or can just shut down, and you can need to use another one. Or some other software can be trending, and you always need to keep updates. You always need to update yourself to be able to follow the latest visual trends in the digital art world. I think that's one of the challenges, and because in traditional art, once you become more professional in a specific category, you make it better and better the whole time. You don't need to change your canvas or paintings all the time, but you need to be perfect on what you do more. That's one of the challenges. And the marketplace is another challenge. It's the same with the marketplace as well. The marketing strategy of the marketplace differentiates between the different marketplaces. And if one is trending, you need to be there if you want to make money. So you need to always keep up with it. And
open your shop in the right place, you are non-existent.
Definitely. And their pricings are different, of course. But the most important thing is to be able to catch or get in to the most trending one.
Actually, that brings us to the revenue streams in digital art. How would you define, and that's a question for all of you, of course, the revenue streams or the ways of making money for the traditional artists and creators and artists that are in the digital sector or they create digitally? Ksenia, Mine, Bahar, please feel free to contribute.
Yeah, I think, that obviously a lot of challenges stay, right? How to get your artwork out, how to get your audience and understand your community. Obviously, with the digital world, and the emerging technologies such as blockchain, which is back of NFT and immersive tech, there are just different ways of doing the sales. And I think that when you look at the traditional scene, it's a lot of times it's unfair. And sorry, I have a kid very running and screaming, so let me know if it gets too annoying. But when in traditional world you sell your artwork to someone and then someone else sells it for millions, you don't get any kickback. And that's when the change comes with digitalization and the power of NFT as a technology to be able to set the lifetime royalties so that you will always get this fair compensation. Another part of the traditional world is that even if you get an exposure in a gallery, the gallery takes, 50-60%, it depends on how you actually negotiate, but it's still a really big percentage. Same in the music world. I don't know if there are any music artists here or we focus on digital artworks, but it's the same. Record labels take a big percentage. So Web3 and creator economy is about, you being more empowered as an artist and building the community around it. There are challenges with marketplaces. There are still challenges how to build community, but this is why I think that artists should be empowered to do art, and other people need to help them to nourish their skills and bring those sustainable strategies. Because right now artists are like human orchestra. You have to do everything. You have to create, but then you also have to think of your virtual presence, of negotiations, and this is a very complex set of skills that I think with the co-creation model and this, fair split of ownership, as an NFT, as a technology, as we start talking about it, you can already give a percentage to a person who does strategy for you at the beginning, and then you can just negotiate and do project together. So rather than handling everything by yourself, you can share, you can back it with the technology and ensure that it has a long-term benefit for all of you. I don't know, Mina, if you have also anything to add.
Yeah, so I think like digitalization just augmented everything. So it augmented the challenges and it augmented the benefits and the reach as well. So as much as we have the challenges, we have as many benefits to being more digital, because it's one, lowering the barrier, because before in the traditional way, it's really hard to just for some artists, it's really hard to get access to those physical exhibition centers or the art galleries. But now the barrier is lower, and there are marketplaces, freelance platforms where you can even sell your merchandise. You can just make your artwork on merchandise. You can just do book covers or art covers or music covers. So it is you have more options than you used to have. So I think the digitalization in that way liberated and democratized the work for the artists. But in a way, it also, we will be talking more about the NFTs, but in a way, it also requires, as Bahar said, to just put more effort and train yourself more about the recent technologies and stay up to date with these recent trends, so that you are just, as competitive as the other artists. Because at the same time, the challenges, and this is the challenge with music creators as well, because I remember my childhood, we would have global famous singers, and we would all be listening to the same music. But because now they have access to the digital platforms, you don't need a record company to come and just recruit you and have an album. Now you can have your single, you can have your album. It's much easier, but at the same time it's more challenging because people now have more alternatives, they have more options. So you need to stick out, you need to stand up and just be unique with your art. So in that way, it is really challenging to keep yourself unique and just differentiate yourself with the rest of the competition.
And how do you see the scene now? What are the most common or most available resources for the artists and creators to make money? How can they scale in the startup lingo? How can they scale their art and start making money? Because I agree with Ksenia that artists should do their work, which is creating art, and making money should not be so hard for them. And some of them, they make good money. How do they do that?
Shall I go on, or someone else is going to take? Okay, so I mean, as I was saying, there's so many options. I mean, they can just sell their art piece. They can just have it minted as an NFT, and just even have special editions, limited editions on the NFT. And for that, of course, they either need to know how to do it, or they can just work with someone who can help them, so they can use platforms like OpenSea and mint their own artwork, or they can just make it print copies, they can sell it, or they can just have merchandise, their artwork on merchandise, and put it on the marketplaces and or the e-commerce websites and just sell it. They can do tutorials, they can do, let's say, courses about art and how to digitalize your art. So that's why it's like, or they can license their art. So it is like easier now to license their
What are the
art through
resources?
the blockchain.
You can also type it in the group chat, by the way, if you want to share some links, like for a starter. How do artists get into
Like
the
where?
NFT, for example?
Okay, I mean, I can just, Ksenia, do you want to go? And I can just like type a couple of like where they can sell their prints. I can also write some of the platforms where they can mint their artwork too. But like they can start with, you know, Etsy is really popular, like for digital work and just like, you know, selling it. Or like Redbubble, we have Redbubble where they can just like all these independent creators are just like, you know, going and posting their digital art. I can put them in the chat. And
please do. And we have some questions coming up in the chat as well. Please keep an eye on them.
Yeah, I see the question and I know how to even integrate it with and continue, you know, the conversation. Because one of the things and the trends that is happening in the space is this co-creation and collaboration. So more artists are doing things together. So one of the ways, obviously, is to get the collaboration with a more known artist and, you know, learn from them and also get more inspiration to continue in the space. Regarding the NFT in general, just a heads up, do not mint NFT if you're not understanding the strategy, just because the NFT is not only about the sphere split of ownership, it's also about your community. So it needs to have more utility. And if you're planning to, you know, be kind of open artist, to talk to your people, to give them some benefits along, maybe do some virtual or physical events, that's something, then the NFT makes sense. So really consider, you know, your strategy before going and executing it, and basically peer support and getting into certain communities of artists. Like, for example, I know of Vortex AI. So if there are any AI artists, I can drop the name of a really great community where they help you onboard you to Web3 and teach you how to mint on different platforms and also help you to understand the strategy. So like find the peer support, communities are there for you. And for immersive tech, inside the physical galleries, I think it's, I mean, I love immersive tech. So I'm a big fan of XR, AR, you know, give it to me. I think it's just an extension to our reality, and your artwork can just amplify, and, you know, you can transmit more messages, you can integrate storytelling. So definitely immersive tech is an amazing addition, either to physical locations or even talking about metaverse movement. Metaverse does not exist as a such, but you have virtual platforms such as Spatial or On Cyber, and I'm going to drop you names as well, where you can actually create a virtual gallery and see how many people come. You can even be there, put the space live on Spatial, and then people can join live, they can talk to you. So it's a kind of new way. Think of it as a 3D website. Like, you do have your website where you have an artwork, but you can also plug in the immersive feature where, without you being there, people can still come see your artworks, and also you can link it to the platform where you sell it, whether it's Web3 or non-Web3. For example, Mina, she shared Rareable, super rare. I think it's hard to get in, but Rareable, they're doing good work. They support different blockchains. So from tech perspective, they're also quite good. So immersive tech has a big implication, not only on art, but in general, because we can not be online, but someone else can already come, feel your artwork, and maybe even purchase it without you being there.
I also see that like from a buyer's or art lover's perspective, I see online auctions, like just to start with. There are so many different mediums, because the platforms that we count here are for the new generation, actually. More tech-savvy people will be looking for digital art pieces there. But for traditional artists also, through online media, they can reach out to the people who were not physically there. So there are online auctions, and we can explore galleries or exhibitions online, and that helps us to reach out to a broader audience. So that's just amazing, in my opinion. And how do
I want to comment on one thing. So like when we say that, so digitalization, now we are talking about like the combination of both, but like even the big, you know, the art gallery, like Christie's or like Sotheby's, they also started doing the auctions for NFTs. So when we are just like, you know, talking about these, I mean, don't think about them like being something separate, but this is now we are seeing like a convergence of the traditional art with the, so they are trying to adapt to this new way of doing things as well. So when we are talking about all these things, sometimes people think that this is like, you know, another world where they cannot adapt to, but everyone, this is now the way of functioning. So as life is changing, art is changing, and the way we reach art, access the art is changing. So that's why this is actually, we are now seeing that convergence as well.
And I see that you are sharing platforms for the artists. If there are any platforms or marketplaces for today's artists that you would like to mention here, give more details, please go ahead. What should the artists consider in choosing the marketplace? Are there any differences here from one another? Could you share how do they operate? Any information on that?
No,
So
I was just about to talk, but it was about the previous question actually.
Okay.
About the online auctions. It was actually this Christie's auction house who made this NFT so popular. And now, according to the new age buyers, they are trying different auction types as well. For example, Sotheby's is trying the Dutch auction type for NFTs lately, in which you decrease the price instead of increasing it. But at least they find buyers. So they're trying to figure out different ways of monetization and monetizing the NFTs and digital artworks as well. Yeah, this was what I was planning to say.
That was very interesting, by the way.
Yeah.
So for an artist, how should they choose the platform? What should be their criteria? Like, should they be present in every platform as much as they can, or to prioritize what should they put in the first place? Anybody who wants to answer
Well,
this question?
Ksenia, I would love to hear what you say as well. But like for me, from what I see, first of all, the fees, because not every marketplace has a common fee. Some are more affordable, like some of them are just like, you know, easy to enter. And I think community and audience, and we will be talking about community even more, but I think community is the key. So each marketplace has a significant type of audience or like a community. So it depends on like what kind of a community you're looking for, or like your art resonates with whom. So I think it's really, I would just like, you know, I'm not an artist, but if I were an artist, I would go and just like make that research, see some like, you know, who the audience is, what kind of art is there. So is it in line with I am doing? Do I want to be part of that community or somewhere else? I think those are like the keys. It is the key with NFTs too. So like NFT is about like blockchain is all about community. And as Ksenia was saying, this everything is about like co-creation. Everything is about collaboration right now. And so when you are just like picking your marketplace, you're actually picking your tribe. So it is, that's like picking your tribe, who you want to, yeah, who you want to be with, because like then you will be in that support system. So the marketplace is also, because the marketplaces are also building their communities, even the stake that their buyers are part of the community. Because like you would see that once a buyer buys something from the marketplace, even those buyers become part of the community, and they just like, you know, several purchases. And so I think those are the most important things when you are just like making that decision to enter a marketplace.
I can add something about it. It's actually not so different in the traditional art scene as well. So when the artist chooses a gallery, they choose which community they want to have dialogue with. And I think it would be clever to get into the most picky one, as in the physical world. If you can get selected by the most picky gallery, it would be great for your marketing and for your career. And I think it's the same with marketplaces as well, digital marketplaces as well, like Super Rare, for example. If you're selected by those marketplaces, then it would be easier for you to get into other ones and market yourself.
Ksenia, do you have anything else to add, or?
Just a short one, maybe. Definitely, community is the key here, and you can already go and check the marketplaces, and there they have either Discord server or Telegram chat. You can review the platform, also keep track of any events that are happening around you, because that's another way to, get to know people behind and meet other artists and talk to them. So do your research wisely. And I emphasize again the strategy because we saw a lot of speculation in the NFT space, and that's why you see this reports that 90% of NFTs are, like worthless, because NFT was perceived as a trading asset rather than helping you establish yourself as artist and get this lifetime royalties, etc., etc. So definitely don't go to OpenSea. I think that's like a very well-known platform, because that's exactly where speculation was happening a lot. And then they even canceled royalties, which was really, terrible news, because that's the essence of this technology. So definitely align with artworks that are listed, and whether it's for the sake of the art, or for the sake of the speculation. So stick to the artistic crowd to make an impact, and connect with people, ask questions. As I said, peer support is really welcome in Web3. So find your tribe, and they will help you and guide you with all this craziness, because again, you don't necessarily need to learn how to program smart contracts. Someone else can do it for you, but you need to understand why you're doing it. So that's really important.
Okay, thank you. And we have a very nice question actually in the chat. Like in many sectors, there are different accelerator programs or mentoring programs helping newcomers. Are there similar programs for the artists to upscale their revenue streams? Revenue and artists, they seem very contradictory, right? Like an oxymoron. For the artists who upscale their revenue streams or even want to establish their business models from scratch. So I would like to hear your experiences. In Turkey, that I think there are small collectives, but we don't really have like an established mentorship system in the art scene, at least not so obvious as it is in the startup scene. But what are your experiences? How do young artists or creators learn to be better at their work and to make their voice heard? Actually, I know that patronage has been the home for many artists. Artists had patrons who paid for their work already, but what are other support systems for artists? Any ideas, any experiences?
Do you mean the support system in terms of funds and knowledge, or like
mentorship as well?
Yeah,
where artists can learn from each other, like collective, but with more like an accelerator program or any program.
Well, I dropped one name, and previously I dropped a platform, Object Marketplace and Tezos ecosystem. They're really focused on actually this movement of artists, co-creation. You even have in the user interface of the platform to be able to just click like collaborate with this artist, and it just creates this contract. So you don't need to think of tech. it's actually a good user experience, you know. So always check Tezos ecosystem, because Tezos is this blockchain and they do give grants. And as far as I know, they did one cohort of this accelerator, and maybe there will be next one. But just I recommend to follow them, because they are the ones who even have like a separate art department. So they're there for artists and not for speculation. And also the fees are very low to mint. So, and they are very environmentally friendly. So they were one of the first who actually started communicating this transaction fees, etc., etc. So this is one of them. And I had another one in mind, but I will text it when I remember.
Maybe we should discuss the importance of crowdfunding and patronage for the artists, the role of crowdfunding, and like funds to support the artists, because crowdfunding is giving more and more possibilities to people who want to realize their dreams, and people like to help each other to contribute to create some beauty in this world. Do you think artists benefit from crowdfunding?
Well, I think now it's again like democratizing, as I said, because like in the past they were looking for funds, or like they had to just like, you know, sell their pieces so that they can sustain their lives. But now it is easier, because like even with an art piece, they can just like create projects. They can just like, you know, create some art piece and just like, you know, turn that into something, some digital work, and get that crowdfunding. So get fund their even the projects, not the one piece, but like have it, turn it into a project. So, and crowdfunding is again a community. It's creating its community. All the backers, all the supporters of that campaign become the community. They are actually the fans of that artist. So the artist brings in together their fans and just like creates that community, gets the support of that community. And as I mentioned earlier, their fans, whenever the artist is running another crowdfunding campaign, they're usually the supporters again. So once the campaign is successful, once you have your community, then your community is always going to be supporting you, even with your further artwork. So I think crowdfunding has really gave some the supportive, the peer support, the supportive feeling. Because usually, you know, in the traditional world as well, I mean, the artists, the creative people, they're lonely people, because they are just like, you know, also looking for support. They're looking for just like to be understood. And with that, they just like, you know, really concretely get that support, see that support. Because I mean, think about an traditional art. I mean, they are just like, you know, in an exhibition, they're just like placing their art. They have to come every day to see if everyone is just like appreciating the art or how they're reacting to it. But with the digital one, they're just like, you know, the people, the supporters, they're digitally just like making their ideas visible, or just like, you know, sharing it with the artist. So it is also making the recognition part more visible and easier. And the crowdfunding, through crowdfunding campaigns, this is even easier to interact with the artist and the community. So there is like a two-way communication between the supporters and the artists as well. So it has both the financial side, financial benefits, and also the motivational, emotional side to it.
Please share any names for crowdfunding resources. Like there are, of course, some obvious ones, but if there are any less known platforms, please go ahead and drop the name. And coming to the communities for artists, maybe, Mine, would you like to talk about the Vibel network, for example? How does it work? How does it help the artists? What do you do?
So the reason why we created the community community, why we brought together the creators with Web3 people and remote work people, was that artists are, although there's this the blockchain technology and the artists can just have their proprietorship through NFT, it's not easy for them to just like turn that into an NFT or like a digital product. So actually our community is helping each other. So our Web3 experts are like helping the creators, so that creators are just like finding their way through this digital world. So everything that we have been discussing today, this is what we are helping with for our creators. Because as Ksenia was saying, let the artists do the art part. Let them not worry about this part, because they don't have to know about this. They don't have to mint their own NFT. They just like, you know, let them be creative, let them do what they are best at. And so creating this community of Vivel was bringing together those creative minds with the Web3 people, so that they could both help each other. We actually have some people who are both at Web3 and also they're creators. So we have some like DJs, or some of our DJs are also in Web3. So it's like their day job is being a Web3 person, and the night job is being a DJ. So we are also seeing those parallel careers, those parallel skills, because it's all about like being, you know, flexible, being adaptable. So, but we are making sure that we have a community of support, we have a community of co-creation, so that everyone comes together and they just like, you know, help each other to build new things.
So how do you keep the community together? What channels do you use? What tools do you use?
We did one event, so every year we will be doing 2 events. So it's like a community, we call it like a community meetup. So everyone who's in the community, they come together, they have the chance to come together in person. Apart from that, we have a Telegram group. Now we have an Instagram community, and we are thinking about having now we have an open poll for that. We will either be having a Discord or a Slack channel where we can also showcase what we are doing in our lives, so that on the business side as well, we want to support each other, give support to each other. So, but mainly the events. So we have a combination of in-person versus digital way of curating and nurturing the community.
And any other communities or channels that Ksenia or Bahar would like to add here for the artists? It's like support groups or communities to learn from each other, like virtual communities, virtual collectives.
So I shared the vertical Vortex. So that's a great community where you can come as an AI artist. As I said, Tezos ecosystem, it's also pretty supportive. So integrating there, it's pretty beneficial. But I would say that right now it's still quite fragmented. You know, there is no holistic ecosystem, and you know, me and Mina, we meshed on that because we're actually believing in the same thing. We need to create those ecosystems. You know, bringing the right people together, explaining them how to co-create and what is the co-creation or co-design model means on the human level, but also on the professional level. So there are really many untapped fields still and challenges as we are discussing. But yeah, I think it's just up to us to be in touch. And for example, as an artist, I think it's always good to think, what do you stand for and what are your values? What are you trying to deliver with your art? To start with yourself and try to think, what are you transmitting? What impact are you making? And that's how you start thinking of your community, because your community is not only people who buy your art. It can be also the galleries that exhibit, or you know, people that just support you and promote you. So these are all your stakeholders, and you need to have this understanding of who you are, what you stand for, what are you transmitting, who could be these potential stakeholders, how would you tap into them. And that's why I said the collaborations, they work really well. It's a kind of organic strategy, you know, like there is an artist that you love and you really want to co-create with them, and that you can approach and ask if you can collab on something. So I think we will see more and more co-creation happening between artists that help each other and push the names. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of challenges in terms of tech, in terms of, you know, finding the right community, finding the right strategy. But yeah, the point why I mentioned this why and what you stand for, this is how you can also start communicating and seeing who reacts towards your message. And some of the strategies that work sometimes is that when you release one artwork as an NFT, as an open format, so there is no limit of, you know, 101, for example, that it's a unique artwork, or you sell 100 copies of one, you sell one open and say that whoever supports you becomes a part of the community, and you write down what community is for you, what you're planning to do with those people. Are you planning to do events? Are you planning to donate to some causes? You know, just actually get this idea there and start this crowdfunding through this, you know, one piece minted. I think that's a good strategy to think of, and yeah, have your stakeholders align and try to collaborate and make partnerships along the way.
Okay, we're coming towards the end of our time actually, but Ksenia already, yeah, we are very good in time. Thank you, each of you. So as a closing remark, what would be your advice to today's artists and creators to grow in their art and their business, to make their voice heard and to reach to greater audiences? Any advices, any do's and don't do's? Please go ahead and share with us.
Maybe I start. I think, you know, be yourself and stand with your values. You know, don't go into the speculation ever, because fast money can bring pain later on. So attract your tribe, and you know, it's a kind of human advice, but be in the right environment. So surround yourself with the people who inspire you, who give you the energy. That's why I mentioned the component of physical events. It's really important. Just try to check what's happening around your area. Maybe it's a small meetup, maybe a small gallery is doing something. You know, there are so many movements happening in the space, and maybe it's not in a big scale yet, but you need to tap in and explore it on different levels. So stay curious. There is a big potential, and technology will help us, you know, improve the world and serve humanity better. So definitely it's gonna bring more and more changes to the art world. But yeah, stick to the right people and think things through, find the peer support, find your community.
Thank you. They were very good remarks, actually. Values, and be with people who are supporting you, like who are pushing you up, not who are pulling you down, actually, because, you know, it's a very common saying that 5 people around you define who you are. So be careful about your friend circle. Anything to add, Mine and Bahar? And meanwhile, we have like 5 minutes to receive more questions. Please go ahead and write it in chat or raise your hand to ask a question. And Mine and Bahar, anything to add?
Yes, certainly. I can recommend to artists that, I mean, you better build up a strategy for yourself. As Ksenia said, it's very crucial to choose your community and define your own values. And you can just build up a strategy for yourself. Don't do everything. Don't do everything, and just build up a strategy and follow that. Of course, it's possible to make changes, but the strategy is important, I think, to have a roadmap. And I have a few things to add before closing up, but maybe Mine wants to add something about recommendations.
So I'm, as you would have understood, I am a big supporter of communities, and so I definitely agree with Ksenia that to find your tribe, to find your support system. And also it is now, as I said, easier to access the marketplaces or just like, get visibility to your artwork, but it is hard to differentiate. So make sure that you have a niche. I mean, just, find your own style, be unique, be authentic. I think this is what's really important in today's world, because everyone's doing something. What is it about you that's making you unique? What is it about you that makes you authentic, that people just like, find something, some feelings in it? I mean, just like, pour yourself, pour your heart into the work that you do. So I think it's really important to polish your skills, to find your talent, to find just like, that niche. And so that you are just kind of like differentiating yourself even in those crowded marketplaces. And of course,
great.
one more thing, protection, because now it's even harder to protect. So your IP, find the ways to license your artwork, and just like make sure that you are protecting your work. That's really important.
Actually, somebody from our audience just asked a question.
Yes.
Just answered. Oğuz writes, I would like to ask sharing insights on protecting intellectual property in the digital art industry and relations between the financial aspect. Amazing, you partially answered that, but any ideas to share on the intellectual property side of it?
Well, I mean, the traditional one is like copywriting and licensing. More digital is like using the blockchain technology, creating your NFTs. So like if you would like to go that way, you can also do that. But licensing and copywriting, they're really important. If you are just like, putting it somewhere, like make sure that it's not downloadable, that you have watermarks. It's like, there are like small things that you can do, but I think it's really crucial because, people can just like share. So sharing is like easier now. So make sure that you are protecting yourself, protecting your intellectual property through these methods.
Okay, great. So back to Bahar. Please share your ideas with us, Bahar.
Yes, there's this thing I want to add before closing. There's a physical aspect of displaying digital art as well. It doesn't have to be, but some artists prefer to use or display their artwork in the physical world. And in that case, it's really important what type of monitor you're using, or do you want to use a small monitor, a big one, or a projector, or a TV screen, or several TV screens. I mean, it's really important which hardware you use, and it's really important to decide if you would guarantee to sustain this hardware for your whole life. Like people did, for example, he just guaranteed the hardware he created for his own life. That's an interesting thing to look at. And one more thing, if you're curious about what is the proportions, like if people prefer to buy digital art or physical art, I would recommend you to read about Damien Hirst's The Currency series. Damien Hirst, 3 years ago, I suppose, created this series of physical and digital and physical artworks, 10,000 of them. And he also created the digital and digital of the same artwork. And he said, they sold it all. And after 2 years, we would ask the buyer if they prefer to keep the physical or digital, and the other one will be destroyed. And they did it, they did the test, and it was almost like 50-50. So I think it's a very good result for digital artists. who wants the people who wants to create in the digital world. I think it's really promising.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Very good remark. Okay, we are so good in time. Just 1 minute extra. Any other questions that you would like to ask my speakers? I think not. So thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoyed and you learned some new platforms and you know where to find us. Ksenia has something to say, I think, raising her hand.
I just want to add that even though we're finalizing this panel, you can always reach us out, I think, and we are really open to also guide you and help you with more specific questions. I think our details have been shared internally as well, but yeah, feel free to reach out. And I really believe that the artists will drive the change in social and environmental impact. So think of this message as well, you know, how we can make this world better together and and just co-create and empower each other, because that's, you know, the world right now is just really it's devastating to see what's happening, and love will save the world and art will save the world. So let's just be together and stay in touch.
We can type our contact info in the chat, although you have all the details in the document, but we can just add it here and keep in touch. Add our Instagram handles, especially. Okay, and LinkedIn. Yeah, Mine.
I would also like that. I just shared my LinkedIn, and I'm really active on LinkedIn. So if you have any questions in regards to the Web3 communities or creators and Vivel, by the way, if you just like remind me that you are from this panel, I can give you a discount code for Vivel event as well. So if you're interested to join us in either Sevilla or in Cappadocia in May, please do reach out to me asking for the discount code, so I will give you the code.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody else, any other remarks? If not, we should say goodbye. And we wish all the success to the participants here, to the artists. Please make this world better.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Everyone, so
To thank my speakers, by the way.
and thank you for moderating. You've been lovely. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Thank you all.
Yeah, actually, as a note for the participants, they'll be staying on the same link. So I encourage you to not leave the session for the closing circle, but if you'd like to have a really small breather, please take 1 or 2 minutes as you may require. And then we'll be right back.
O tico-tico no fubá. A voz do pato era mesmo um desacato. Jogo de cena com o ganso era mato. Mas eu gostei do final quando caíram na água, ensaiando o vocal. Quen, 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 quen. Quen, 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 quen. Quen, 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 quen. E o pato vinha cantando alegremente. Quen, quen, quando o marreco sorridente pediu para entrar também no samba. O ganso gostou da dupla e fez também. Quen, quen, olhou pro cisne e disse assim: vem, vem, e o quarteto ficará bem, muito bom, muito bem. Na beira da lagoa foram ensaiar para começar o tico-tico no fubá. A voz do pato era mesmo um desacato. Jogo de cena com o ganso era mato. Mas eu gostei do final mal quando caíram na água, ensaiando o vocal. Quen, 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 quen.
I'm actually in love with this playlist. Cannot just get rid of every day. Okay. Thanks you all. Can I just see everyone? Faces, maybe. No. Will we be able to turn our cam off if there's any little chance to say goodbye? You know, we've actually finalized this for a weekend. I cannot believe that we've been together for a month. And I really, really appreciate every single one of you for bearing with us, staying on this program until the very, very end of it. It really means a lot. So we actually would like to make a really small and intimate closing ceremony. We actually can stop the recording, by the way, San, if you like.